Oh, are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
He always does that to me, y'all. He doesn't tell me when we're recording.
That's how you get the good B-roll.
Is that?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to start doing the video editing so it gets used? Notice he doesn't say yes. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andi. We've been dyeing some yarn and roving, and yeah, we've been doing a lot of dyeing. We finished what we were dyeing, but we still have dye left. Let's see, lots of it. You know, whole bunches of it. Even this bowl here, it's heavy. It's got some dye in it.
Not tea.
Not tea, not apple juice, no.
Nor apple cider.
Nor apple cider, don't drink that, no. And these aren't even our 1% stock solutions. These are ones that we mixed up from our 1% solutions. So we don't want to let them sit, because we didn't use distilled water to mix them, we just used tap water. So we want to go ahead and use them up pretty quickly before anything has a chance to grow in it. Might not happen, might happen. We don't want to risk it, and we don't want to just get rid of the dye. We don't want to just throw it away. So we have 2 skeins of Dyer Supplier 75-25 superwash merino nylon fingering weight yarn.
Mm-hmm. That's what they are?
They are each 100 grams. I have no idea how many yards. 4 something? 415?
Probably.
I don't
440, 415.
I don't know.
441.
Go back and watch some of the videos where we dyed the Ode to Autumn yarn, because that's what we've been dyeing, and I know we use some of this yarn for that. So you'll notice one of them has a whole lot of zip ties on it, and the other one only has the one that we use for pulling it in and out of the water.
Why would that be?
Why would that be? It would be for a reason. We are going to do sort of contrasted resist dyeing. We're going to start, we're going to dye both of these skeins at the same time in one color. And then when that color is exhausted, we're going to take 1, 2, 3, some of the zip ties off of this one and put it on this one instead. Then we're going to dye them in a second color. Then when that color is exhausted, we'll remove some more of the zip ties from here and put them over here. Repeat with another color, and we'll keep doing that until we've used all the colors. Might not use up all the dye, because we do have an awful lot of it. But we at least want to use all the colors. So this one's going to end up starting out with lots of resist points, and this one's going to start out with, you know, the whole skein getting dyed one color. And then, you know, as we take the zip ties off of this, those resist points will get just the new color on them. And this one will put the resist points on, and where those resist points are, it won't get the new color. So,
It'll preserve the original color.
yeah, they could end up looking pretty much the same. They could end up looking completely different. We don't know. I just thought it'd be an interesting idea to try that. And a great way to use up some of this yarn. So we're going to start with just putting them in, because they're still dry, we haven't soaked them in anything. We're going to put them in this bowl right here, which just has you know, some last little leftover bits from the pans where we were dyeing some yarn.
They will not take the water.
They will, it just takes time. I think there's some citric acid in here.
At least a little bit.
At least a little bit. I have no idea how much. This is just where we poured all of our little leftover bits out of our aluminum pans. So we're going to let this sit and just soak in this water while we work on transferring the warm water from our crock pot, which is too small to do 2 skeins, over into our stock pot and boil some more water to put in it so that we've got a really hot dye bath for this. So y'all come on in, we'll get to work on that, and then we will dye this yarn. All right, so we've got all of our water transferred from our crock pot into our stock pot, and we heated up some more water in our electric kettle. the water that was in the crock pot is water that we used to set some of our other autumn inspired projects. So it was warm and it already had citric acid in it. Just the crock pot wasn't big enough to handle 2 full skeins of yarn for something where we wanted them to be able to have a little bit of room to move. I did add another teaspoon or so of citric acid to the water in the stock pot since we were adding so much more water to it. Want to make sure that we maintain an acidic environment because we want these colors to try to take up fairly quickly because it is going on 6 o'clock and we have 6 colors to go through. I'm going to want sleep at some point. I'm also going to probably want food. I know he will, right, Jack?
Want sleep? Yeah.
And food?
Probably.
Yes. So we want these to take up pretty quickly. Now, in all of our other autumn-inspired projects, we've started dyeing the lightest color first and worked up through to the darkest color. We're gonna kind of reverse that this time. So we're gonna start with, this is just some custom green that we've mixed up. And there's not a whole lot in this one. This is not 1%. It is some that we mixed up for our gradient color. And you know, we just took some of the 1% that we had mixed up and then diluted it with water to hand paint on. And there wasn't a whole lot of it to start with, and there's definitely not a whole lot of it now. And you can see that's very light. We're going to put both of these in there. I'd love to do them at the same time, but I can't find how to get the other one out.
Use your hands, Andy.
Yeah, but okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. All right. Okay. Yeah, that dye that was in the water turned this kind of a really nice ivory color. The yarn?
Yeah, I guess now you know what you want. You want ivory yarn.
Yeah, if I want just ivory, I'll just go with natural. Okay, so I'm going to put these in here. And Chad's just going to move that bowl out of the way. Aha, there's my tongs. I'm like, where's my tongs? There's my tongs.
Coming soon to a theater near you, Andy Tong Hands.
Andy Tong Hands. All right, we're just gonna let this sit for a minute or two while it grabs up that color. And then we'll come back and put our next color in and take off some of those zip ties. All right, it's only been a few minutes, but our dye bath is already clear. So we're gonna take these out, and we've just got an aluminum tray over here. We're going to place them in. What?
It's like a centipede. That is actually a nice green.
It is. It's sort of a nice celery green or maybe celadon or something.
You stop here.
Huh?
You stop.
No, we don't. We got a whole lot more dye we gotta do stuff with. It's a very, very pastel green. Very, very pastel. And this one. And I'm just getting a little bit of that water out of here just because it's hot. All right, so now we need to transfer some of the zip ties from this one over to this one. Chad, do you want to help with this?
Sure, are we going from one end to both ends? How are we doing?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, just like when you put them on here, we're just going to take them off randomly.
Okay, how many are we going to take off total this time around?
Let's just take off 2 this time.
Okay.
You think?
Sure. And tighten them down again?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to do half its skein here.
And you can see that where we had those resists, there's no dye. That's the whole purpose of it. Okay, so now I'm going to take our next color. This could be brown. It could be garnet. We're not sure. I'm not putting this entire jar in there because I don't know if this yarn would all pick it up. Yeah, this is, I believe, the brown.
Half a cup-ish.
Yeah, a little more than half. Let's see how that looks. Do a little more. So that it's about a cup of this mixture. Because this one we didn't put a whole lot of the dye in. Alright, and you can see that's what our dye bath looks like. And put these back in again.
Woohoo.
Yeah. There's a reason there was a washer. It's okay, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Your yarn's falling apart.
Well, you know what it's like. It's just... All right. Lid back on. We're just gonna let this sit and we'll be back when it's exhausted and it's time to do the next round. Our dye bath is exhausted again from our brown dye. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out. That's kind of interesting. Sort of made it look gray.
Mm-hmm. You're saying green and brown make gray. That one, you can tell where it struck.
All right. It's actually kind of cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess because we didn't have as much of the brown as I thought we would end up with, we didn't get any on there too, but that is fine. That's fine. So now, think move 3 over.
Sure.
Okay.
Just random 3.
Just random 3. That's the name of the game. Random 3.
Okay. Putting this one around all the way.
This is warm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And take this one.
And next up we have, it's a very dark red, which is probably our garnet, which is a custom color. But I can't promise that.
What?
I can't promise that. It'd be really nice for dyeing like a cranberry.
Mm-hmm. Or a lingonberry.
Ooh, yeah. I'll put some of that back. I think I'll put a little more in. Well, because we've diluted these, they're not as strong as they look in the jar.
Yep.
Okay. I'll put that right there. And, you know, it's going to reach a point where we don't know which one is which anymore, isn't it?
And, well,
The one that started with all the zip ties has the
double.
blue tie going through the orange one.
The other one has just a red tie.
Yeah, just doesn't have a double tie anywhere. All right, lid on, and again, we wait. Our dye bath is exhausted. There might be the faintest tinge of pink left in there, but it's kind of hard to tell because red dyes stained my measuring cup. So it's kind of pink now too. It was really red until I took the yarn mop to it. So we're gonna call it exhausted and take these out. And the one that had all the resists had the double. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we need to take, let's see, we've got 3 colors left, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's take 3 off of this one and move it over.
Okay.
We can just do 3 each time now. Now that color is a lot lighter than I expected it to be.
Yarn's getting hot.
Well, yeah. It's been hot every time. All right, I'm gonna take this one off. It's a double.
Cool.
I'm gonna put a double on over here.
I'm gonna put this one here.
We need one more.
One more.
How about this one?
The green one?
Yeah. I'm gonna do something interesting on this one.
Yep, gonna do a border.
I'm gonna do...
Oh, 2, like the middles?
Yeah.
Ooh, fancy.
Fancy. That'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we're gonna do this color. And for the last of the colors we have, except possibly this one, we're gonna just pour in what's left. That last one I think we probably will too, because that'll be the last one that we do.
Yep, I guess that's orange. But that's where it should go in the reverse spectrum anyway.
Okay. And put these back in. Move them around a little, just so more areas have access to the dye. All right, lid on, and we'll be back when this one's exhausted. Our dye bath is exhausted again, so time to take these out. And one thing I find interesting on this one is that this section here that we took a tie off, it really didn't pick up much color.
Nope.
I mean, it's still basically white. But that's okay.
Yep. What resistor for, right?
Well, I just would expect that there'd be more color there, but it's just that the dye that we're using, there's not that much dye in those. It looks like it's a lot, but it really isn't. So this is the one that we're taking from.
Yep. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep. So
Take this one.
nice thing about working out here in the cold garage is that the yarn cools off to be, you know, where we can touch it really pretty quickly.
There we go.
Is that your second one?
This is my second one.
Okay. Ah, there we go.
Get that right here.
Next up,
Aztec gold.
yep, that's a yellow. All right. Move them around a little. Let it sit, and then we'll be back to put the last one in. All right. Our dye bath is exhausted. So we're gonna go ahead and take these out. Do our last zip tie swap. Okay.
That one's staying on, right? 'Cause that's
Yes.
the double.
This is the double. It's staying on, but it's gonna get loosened because it's got a lot of resist going on there. So we can lock this one down tighter, right? Because this was the original.
That's the original.
So we can tighten this one down more, like you did with that one. And I'll put one here. And now it's time for our last color.
Gold ochre.
Gold ochre. Now, since we've got a lot of really white patches, do we want to amp up this gold ochre with 10 ml of our base dye stock? Yeah. Put another 10 ml in of our 1%.
Because you can.
Because I can, and because we've got some sections that really just, even though they've been in, been exposed during one of these rounds, they just haven't gotten much color on them because although it looked like a lot of dye in those jars, it really wasn't. And put these back over in here. So the one that had all the resists now has no resists.
None at all.
And the one that had no resists now has all the resists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's only been like 4 minutes and our dye bath is basically exhausted, but if you look at the sections that we just took the resist off, we've just got a really pale yellow. It looks brighter on camera than it really is, and we've got some places that it's just still white, like if you look in there. So I am making the executive decision to take these out while the water is still hot. It's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna go ahead and put the rest of the gold ochre in there. It's a fairly light yellow, and we gotta bear in mind that what we're seeing here in this yellow, it's gonna be lighter when it's dried. So it's gonna be a really pale yellow, and I would like it to be this shade when it's dry. Plus, if you look like right here, you can see we've got some areas in here that are still white, and there's just no dye left in that dye bath pretty much for them to grab a hold on. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put the rest of this in here. You can see it's not much darker than what our last one was. So I don't think we're gonna end up, you know, overdoing it with this yellow. I am gonna try to shift this just a little bit so that this area here can move more. And then I'm just gonna put everything back in here. Just moving this around so that all of the places in this skein that don't have zip ties, that don't have the resist, can have access to the dye. And hopefully I don't just get this really tangled. If I do, well, it's on me and I have to clean it up and untangle it. So, all right, yeah. Now, the hot plate is turned off. I'm putting the lid on the stock pot. We're gonna unplug everything, and Chad is gonna drag me back in the house and give me food so that I have to just leave this alone overnight. And here's our finished yarn. I think we got some really cool, interesting results with these. Now, this is the skein that started out with no resists, and we added them as we went through with each subsequent dye bath. This is the one that started with all of the resists throughout it, and we removed some of them with each subsequent dye bath. And you can see they turned out completely different.
Oh yeah, very different.
Very, very different. Just totally different feels. And that's because, you know, like this color here and this here, that's from the very first round of dye where we had that green. And once that exhausted, we put ties there and clamped them down really hard so that no more dye would get in, and that preserved that color. And yeah, so we can see on this one where we added those ties, each color from each of the different dye baths. Whereas this one, because we were removing the zip ties as we went along, we really can't see each of those individual colors because they all got layered one over the top of each other, every single color getting layered, just in different amounts.
This one definitely ended up more autumn themed.
Yeah, this totally has like an autumn theme, autumn feel, or, you know, even maybe fire.
Fire, yeah.
Fiery feel. This one, I can't really tell what it makes me think of. It's these sections here, the blue.
The seafoam greeny blue, and then you got some gray.
That just is, I don't know that it fits. It's just definitely different.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Of the two, I have to say, I think I like this one a little bit better, because it seems more cohesive. Whereas this one, these patches here, they just kind of throw me. It just seems out of left field for it. If it didn't have these, I love the way these pinky purples sort of blend in with the yellow and the orange. I love how that looks. So, I mean, I'd love to do this again on a skein of yarn and skip the bluish colors that, you know, gave us these, and just do like the others with this effect to get that pink and purple and the orange and yellow, and because I really think that's gorgeous.
Yeah, although I do like the seafoamy green in here too. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure which one is my favorite.
Yeah.
They're both different, mm-hmm. but they're also both good.
Yeah. One thing I love about both of these is the effect of layering the colors and how that looks on the yarn. The colors, they build up. What's on the inner core of the strand isn't the same as what's on the outside. And it's kind of a glazing effect, but not quite. And those colors, they just blend together in a different way. I'd have to say it's almost a watercolor effect on yarn. This one does it too. This section here is a really good example of it. But we just get, you know, such a nice little pastel effect, and you can see the underlying color through what's on the top. I love the effect of how they layer over each other. The colors like that. It's not the 2 or 3 colors even mixing to being just one. The individual colors, they're still there, but they are just kind of glazing over each other in places. I don't know how to say what I'm wanting to say, but I think it's gorgeous.
There you go, that's what matters.
That's what matters. What also matters is how does it look when it's worked up? They work up like this.
Do you like that the green, blue, gray color is kind of muted here?
I do.
They get to spread around in the swatch.
Yeah, I do like how it works together in here throughout. I think it plays with that pink really nicely. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a fresh, crisp little burst of color. But this is I still prefer this one.
And I think in the swatch it looks much more autumn than just straight up fire.
It really does. In the swatch it works up and just sort of, you know, calls out across the fields, it is harvest time. Get your scythes, get your machines, let's go and harvest some crops, y'all. That's just kind of what it's saying. I don't know if y'all can hear it out there, but it is, trust me. It's actually saying that. We can hear it here. Which one do you like better, Chad?
Well, like I said, it's tough to decide.
Okay. If I was going to knit you something out of one of these two skeins, mm-hmm. which skein would you pick?
I'd probably go with this one. I do like the green.
Yeah, they can't see what you're pointing.
with the little green-blue patches in it.
He keeps calling that green, and to me, that is like an ice blue.
Mm-hmm. I see it as a seafoam green.
Yeah, and I see this
as a gray.
As gray, mm-hmm. But he sees this as seafoam. This, he sees that as seafoam green, and I see it as blue. And yes, I know the lights are completely blowing it up when I try to show you. But so you like this one?
I do.
That's the one you would want. Mm-hmm. I like this one. It's the one I would want, which means it works out perfect. We got 2 skeins of yarn, and we both would get to use the one that we want.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed watching us do this experiment with layering dyes over yarn, starting with either no resist and adding throughout, or starting with lots of resist and removing throughout. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now and turn on notifications so you never miss anything that we do here. I hope you have an incredible day, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Chad.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.